really excited about who we get to introduce tonight and the purpose of this call.
Yes, absolutely. We've got a great June kickoff call lined up with our president and CEO to share some amazing announcements after a phenomenal month of May. Just to, I'm sure just congratulating us for Craig and I, we want to congratulate everyone. And I know we'll hear that from Sam as well. And just, this is such an important call to be on. So for everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us, because it's a critical aspect to building this business and sharing Alivea with other people, to hear from our president and CEO what's up and what's coming for this these next few months ahead of us.
So excellent. The first Monday of every month, put it in your calendar. And Mr. Sam Castor, we're honored to introduce you to tonight's call. And I know this is your call once a month, so take it away and have fun with it.
Hey, thanks, Craig and Ann. And before I go any further, man, congratulations to you two.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible. Our very first, $1 million global ambassadors. That's an incredible feat, guys.
Oh.
I think it puts us on the map as a legitimate company out there. Thank you guys very much for all you do. And of course, everybody enjoys your weekly calls and your weekly Saturday calls especially. I mean, you both bring both genuine knowledge as well as a lot of fun to this business. So thank you guys for all you're doing. Hey, listen, I do want to welcome everybody to the call tonight. Man, it is great to be with you guys. The first Monday of every month, I do sort of a recap of everything that's going on in our company, Alivea. And of course, this is our first full month of Alivea. So this is really great. I mean, we had such an incredible kickoff. And I just want to congratulate everyone out there for everything that you did to make this possible. It really exceeded our expectations, which is always a lot of fun. This Saturday is going to be the first Super Saturday call for Alivea. It's at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. And Super Saturdays are really a lot of fun because you'll get to hear from special guests, a lot of neat information about what other people are doing to achieve success in this social business environment that we're in. Lots of good info. We'll recognize our iPad achievers, which is one of the contests that we ran during our first month, and just lots of other prizes. It's just going to be an awful lot of fun. I promise you don't want to miss Saturday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. The other thing, and I mentioned it on last Saturday's call, we exceeded 25 million donated servings of advanced immune supporting technologies to children in need. I can't tell you how proud I am of what we're doing in that respect. It's kind of interesting from a perspective standpoint. I've been providing this ACE Manna technology for a little over 20 years through Manna Relief. And for the very first time, I'm starting to get calls from big not-for-profit organizations around the world that are wanting to know, how do we enhance the immune system? Because what everybody's realizing is what we're facing today in the world of health goes so far beyond just feeding people, and nourishing people. It's how do we get people's immune systems functioning so that we can protect ourselves against all the issues that we're facing in the world today. And so that's very rewarding too, because that's what we do. We support people who are on the front lines in Manna Relief with these children that are medically fragile, that are vulnerable basically to every kind of health risk that exists. And we provide the most advanced, scientifically valid support that the world has ever seen. It's just an incredible blessing to be a part of something so significant. And I always say this every time I say 20 million, 22 million, 24 million, and now 25 million. We're just getting started. It's just the tip of the iceberg, guys. 6 million children a year die of conditions that could be avoided with a better functioning immune system. And that's the solution that we bring into the marketplace. I know there's a lot of new social business partners on the call tonight, and welcome to Alivea. Welcome to our Monday night call. It's really great to have you guys with us. I promise you this may be one of the most rewarding things you could ever do with your life. You know, there's so many benefits that come from being a part of who we are and what we get to do. I often say everybody has to make a living. We get to do this. We get to bring hope to the hopeless around the world. And the hopeless are not necessarily in sub-Saharan Africa or in Southeast Asia. The hopeless exist across the street from you, down the street from you, at your family reunions, you know, in your churches. People that have been given a bad report and have no place to turn to try to regain quality of life. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight since there's so many new people. Just before I get into that side of it, I do want to say that we had some incredible activity the first month. We have things called ranks when you get to 2K or 5K or 10K or 20K or 40K. You know, these are all levels of activity that are all tied directly to numbers of children that are being impacted on a daily basis. We had 76 new 2Ks this last month. Is that wild? 76. We had 27 new 5Ks, 13 new 10Ks, 2 new 20Ks, 3 new 40Ks. We had 18 social business partners that had multiple rank increases in their first month of business. That is outstanding. So without any further ado, I just want to bring perspective to some of the information that you might have gotten in your kits, for instance, when you signed up as a social business partner. We actually have a brochure in there that's about 8 pages, and it kind of gives an overview of who we are, what we're about, what is our purpose, what makes us so unique in the marketplace, and what is so timely about what we're doing in the world today. So, Will, if you could put those that PowerPoint up, I'll just go through this. So we are Alivea, and we do health differently. What does that mean? Well, it means that we're the first of the kind market-driven movement in the healthcare industry. Alivea was created by 2 international not-for-profit organizations. Now, I'm going to tell you that is really critical. I'll get a little more into that in terms of how do we function as an organization around the world. We are a social business. We're not the first social business, but we're the first of our kind market-driven social business owned by not-for-profits. Okay, secondly, we provide the most powerful nutritional technologies to help meet the world's most challenging health concerns. In social business, you take on the biggest challenges in the world, and you provide unique, innovative new solutions to those challenges through your social business model. The challenge that we have taken is truly the world's biggest challenge today, and I'll get more into that too, which is healthcare. And we are driven by a very unique form of social business called 3.0 that puts together a shared revenue, travel, and giving program to maximize our ability to tell our story and impact people all over the world. Next. So let's talk just real quickly about the challenge, because it's important that you understand the issue at hand. The amount of chronic and infectious disease in the world today is just overwhelming. And it's not getting better, it's getting worse. So again, just some statistics: 6 out of every 10 adults in the United States live with 1 or more chronic diseases. 4 out of 10, live with 2 or more. So, and I think it's 2 out of 10 live with 6 or more. I mean, it's just incredible, the amount of chronic disease. So 60% of our adult population is sick all the time. Then we go over to infectious disease, and it talks about these new superbugs that are coming into existence. There's an overabundance of antibiotics, not only in the treatment phase of chronic disease, but also in our food supply. Animals are injected with high levels of antibiotics, and the impact that has had is that some of these really detrimental superbugs, these bacteria, have mutated to where no antibiotic touches them. That's why they're called drug resistant. And as you can see on this slide, by the year 2050, when this proclamation was made about 3 years ago, they said by the year 2050, they predict more people will die from infectious disease than cancer. Well, I got some news for you. In 2020, it's predicted that 1.8 million people will have cancer death, will have new forms of cancer. 607,000 people will die of cancer. In this same year, it is predicted that 1.75 million people will contract the COVID-19 virus, and that 100,000 people have already died, and we got a long way to go to the end of this year. So these numbers are creeping up on us much quicker than anybody had ever anticipated. To add insult to injury, over 6 million children die from these very same conditions in areas of the world where there is just no access to modern health care. Nothing that we can do for these children. And the bottom line to this, which makes it so threatening to the world, is the cost of it. Last year, it was $3.2 trillion just in the U.S. alone. By 2023, it's predicted to go to $4.2 trillion. So the point of that, guys, is that is economically unsustainable. In other words, as a society, it is the biggest threat to our global economy, the cost of managing poor health. It's just overwhelming, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Okay, next. So we are a social entrepreneur, a social business, social entrepreneur organization that has decided to take on this challenge, to make a shift, in the focus of modern healthcare towards keeping people healthy rather than trying to manage their chronic illnesses. And social entrepreneurship is a revolutionary new business model for solving global problems. Next. I love this book. It's by Muhammad Yunus. He's the Nobel Prize winner in 2005 for the creation of a concept called microfinance. He started the Grameen Bank, and it's the number one strategy in the world today for dealing with poverty. It's a for-profit entity that operates like any other bank, with the exception of all of its profits go back in to providing more economic, support to people who are trying to work themselves out of their hopelessness and despair. And the concept of microfinance is just phenomenal for changing that issue in the world today. And again, he did win the Nobel Prize for it. But Muhammad Yunus along the way said, I've discovered some things about social business. Number one, social business is a for-profit, entity. It's not a charity. You don't go out and raise, contributions. You leverage the power, the economic power of the marketplace, to provide sustainable solutions to the world's biggest problems. In his case, it was microfinance. He needed a for-profit bank in order to perpetuate the ability to impact more and more and more people. And it impacted in Bangladesh alone, listen to this, 40 million people. Now that's in a country of 160 million. That's what you call making an impact through social business. But also in this book, he said, here's what I learned about social business. If the social business has the opportunity for investors to make a profit, that profit taking will always be in conflict with the social mission. And he said, when push comes to shove, profits will always trump vision, always. So what he suggests is when you start a social business, you do what's called a non-dividend for-profit social business. In other words, investors are entitled to get their money back, but beyond that point, all profits go back into supporting the mission. He also suggested that global not-for-profit organizations should look to this model for funding their activities because there is not enough money in charitable giving to account for the kind of impact that is needed to take on the world's biggest problems. Let me just kind of give you an example of what he's talking about. In this country, probably the best known social business, for sure, the one that has gotten the most notoriety is Tom Shoes. We talk about it just about every time we talk about social business. What a crazy, wild success story that was. Here's a guy that saw that kids were being denied an education and exposed to poor health conditions for the simple reason they didn't own a pair of shoes. He came back to America and tried to raise money. Guess what? That was not on the highest list of anyone who was doing charitable giving. There's too many other things that were important other than shoes. So he started a social business. It was called Tom's Shoes. And every time he sold a pair of shoes, he donated a pair of shoes. And just became wildly successful with that concept. I mean, people loved, buying shoes when they knew that because of their compassionate consumerism, children around the world would get the benefit from it. What a great idea. But it was a for-profit, and it was and it became a dividend-based for-profit corporation. And in January of this year, the debtors of the company foreclosed on the company because it couldn't meet all of its debt. And they completely took over the company. That's what you call the money overtaking the vision. And the founder of Tom Shoes, Blake Mikowski, is no longer an owner and no longer an employee of that company. That's the danger of combining dividends, for-profit dividends with charitable giving. It's always a conflict. Next slide. So how did we solve that? Well, first of all, two very large and very successful not-for-profit organizations in the world came together to create Alivea. Alivea is a public benefit corporation, which means that in the articles of incorporation, we are a legal social business. That's what public benefit corporations are established to do. So you set forth in your articles of incorporation that you're going to make a social impact, and you identify what that impact is. But even though it's for-profit, because it was created by two not-for-profits, there is no single shareholder. There is no one that is looking for a dividend from the work that we do with Alivea. Now, Manna Relief, of course, is a relief organization that provides advanced, immune and nutritional support to the world's most vulnerable children. My wife and I started that organization in 1999. We've delivered over 130 million daily servings of this advanced nutritional support to kids in over 90 countries of the world. So we've been doing this for a long time. We know how to get the products to the place of need. We know how to account for it, and now we're being approached from organizations that have an absolute demand for what we can offer. The other organization was NCMN, which is Nation Changers Movement and Network, a very highly successful organization out of South Korea, a not-for-profit ministry that does educational training in the areas of finance and leadership and city transformation. Last year, they had 150 million hits on their YouTube trainings. And so they've become, again, one of the most impactful not-for-profit ministry organizations in the world today. Well, we both had a lot in common. They were training people up to take responsibility for their own lives and for the lives of people around them. They're training people up in the areas of leadership. How do you take a leadership role and actually make a difference in the world that we live in today? How do you transform cities? How do you transform nations? How do you transform the world? How do you bring sustainable impact to the world's biggest problems? And here we are with Manna Relief having the most important technology for making a healthcare transformation that exists in the world today. And we just decided that what we could accomplish together could literally change the world. And that is Alivea, a public benefit corporation owned by two major not-for-profits. Next. So let me explain to you what that means in terms of the revenue stream that come out of Alivea. First of all, if you go up, the first thing, well, let me go to the side first, to the left side on your screen. Cost of products. Well, obviously, for every dollar that comes in, we have to pay for the products that were sold, as well as the products that were donated through our Buy One, Nourish Two platform for social giving. So first thing that comes out of our coffers is we pay for our products. To the right, the second thing that we do is we pay for our operations. What does it take to actually manage this? Now, I will tell you this, as a social business entrepreneur and having run a not-for-profit for over 20 years, we run a mean and lean operation. We're not about impressing people with big buildings and big, fleets of fancy cars. Our metric is the number of children that we get to impact in the world. That's how we equate success. So it doesn't take much for us to operate our company in a very efficient way. If you go up, you see Social Business 3.0. That's you guys. And I'll explain 3.0 in just a minute. But that funds our rewards program. How do we compensate, our social business partners for helping us get our story and our products into the marketplace? Some of it is financial. Some of it is experience trips. We have all kinds of experience trips that we offer to our social business partners. Some of them are just fun. We do one excursion trip every year where we just have fun. Last year, we went to Cancun. For our leaders, we go to Hawaii every year, where we have a collaboration for about 3 days on what our goals are for the following year and what are the things that we need to do to achieve those goals. We also have experience trips that go to the orphanages that we support, or the hospitals, or the medical facilities. And again, there's all kinds of facilities that we support. One of the favorite trips is our trip to Mexico. Our distribution partner in Mexico for Manna Relief is the former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, and his wife, Marta. So we go down there for 4 days. We have dinner with the Foxes. When's the last time you had dinner with the former president of one of the leading economies in the world? Well, why did we get to do that? Because I'm telling you, everybody wants to be connected to the kind of company and the kind of impact that we make in the world. So we have dinner with the Foxes. We get on the buses and we go to the orphanages. We have fun while we're there. We go to the city of Guanajuato, which is one of the most picturesque cities in the world. And anyway, our experience trips are unlike anything, I promise you, you've ever experienced in your life. And then we have lots of fun incentives. Some of those we'll talk about tonight. Some of those we'll talk about next Saturday, like all of our iPad, achievers for the first 30 days. Those are the types of incentives that we just do, week to week, month to month, just fun things to keep the activity fun and exciting. And then finally, if you go down from Alivea, you see the profits. After all these things are paid for, we have what is left are profits. And those profits are dedicated to expanding the projects that we're committed to with Alivea, with Manna Relief, with Nations Changers. And of course, our primary goal is meeting the needs of children. But we're also looking for other sustainable, projects that we can invest in to make a difference in the world. What's really cool about this is you don't see anywhere on this chart where shareholders are clamoring for profits. You will never see this company taken over by its shareholders, like what just happened to Tom's. You will never see greed and manipulation, enter into this equation, which is one of the plagues of all businesses, especially in an industry where you have high numbers of distributors. All kinds of things, horror stories have happened. That will not happen in our social business environment. Next. So, of course, the solution to changing the health of the world is go to the very core issue of why people get sick. This, by the way, is in the brochure. So this is just verbatim. Our immune systems are designed to protect us from every kind of chronic and infectious disease. So why has the world become so threatened by these types of health concerns? Because the growing challenges of poor nutrition, toxicity, and stress have created a global epidemic of a condition called immune deficiency. If we don't shift our healthcare focus towards the optimization of our immune systems, then our system will collapse under the growing burden of sickness and the pandemics that we're being exposed to. Alivea has been created to assimilate nature's most powerful and proprietary nutritional ingredients for driving this effort. Something unique, different, and proprietary that is the best of its kind in this industry. Next slide, please. At the very top of the list is nature's most powerful immune activating molecule. In the mid-1980s, groups of research pharmacologists discovered and patented the process required for stabilizing the biologically active molecule in the aloe vera plant. I mean, here's a plant that has been recognized since the beginning of recorded time and for its impact on health and healing, and it's been the cornerstone of ancient medicine. So this molecule was first discovered, though, in the 1980s. It was named acemannan, and over $100 million was invested in validating its unique role in activating the body's front lines of defense and repair. Hey, guys, there is no other molecule in nature or medicine that can provide this unique level of immune support, which is critical in the world we live in today. This unique technology was developed by Dr. Santiago Rodriguez, who was involved in the patenting of the very first stabilized acemannan. But in 2014, Dr. Rodriguez went back into the lab and started working on the next generation of acemannan technology that had 4 to 5 times more immune activating potential than the original patented technology. And once he developed that, he donated it exclusively to Manna Relief and our Hope movement. We call that product Alivea AE, which stands for Alivea Acemannan Extract. It is the most unique and efficacious technology in the world. Next. Okay. Why is this so unique and so different, and what place does it have in the marketplace today? Well, listen, as a result of the current pandemic worldwide, what everybody in the medical community is telling us is that those most susceptible for getting sick and dying are those people with the most compromised immune systems, people with pre-existing conditions, the elderly, people that are taking lots of drugs because of the toxicity and its impact on our immune systems. And so there's become a premium on immune supporting technologies. And so anything that has a systemic effect on the body in terms of building health has been converted from a dietary supplement into an immune booster, right? Well, this is an article that came out not too long ago from Harvard Health Publishing, which is part of Harvard Medical School, and it says, can supplements boost your immune system? Good question, right? Here's a lady looking at the label. They don't know. Every herb, every vitamin, every mineral has a systemic effect on overall health. Now they've all become immune boosters. And what it says in this article is there's no evidence that these products can bolster immunity to the point where you are better protected from infection or disease. In other words, it's not bad to take a dietary supplement, but if you're doing it as a way of protecting yourself, there's probably not much information or science to support that. Next. Okay, I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes because, guys, you've got to understand the uniqueness of who we are. I just got this book in the mail about a week ago. It's called The Plague of Corruption, Restoring Faith in the Promise of Science. It is written by a doctor by the name of Judy Mastovitz. And she's a fascinating lady. She is best known for her work at the National Cancer Institute. She has been involved in the discovery of a whole new class of retroviruses. She's one of the leading researchers in the world in terms of immunology. And this is what she said in the book. There are large white blood cells called macrophages. These are the front lines of defense. Macrophages are the orchestrators of the immune system's response. If you get your macrophages working properly, they will attack pathogens more effectively. That's the way nature intended humans to defend themselves. So the world's leading scientists are saying everything that you know about immunology starts right here, macrophage activation. Next slide. This is actually in Ace Manning 101. You get a much more detailed view of this. But all pathogens, as you see there on the left where it says infection, whether they're viruses or bacteria or fungi, all express glycans off their surface. These are strings of sugars. And at the very end of their glycans is a very unique sugar called mannose. Now, you see at the top there's sort of a purple-looking blood cell. It's called a macrophage. Right below it is one called a dendritic cell. These are called phagocytes. These are the front lines of defense. These are the white blood cells that are on surveillance 24/7. And what they're looking for is invaders. What they're looking for is damaged cells. What they're looking for is dead cells. Go to the right where it says cancer. All cancer cells express antigens off their surface. And at the end of their glycans, all these antigens, is the same exact sugar called mannose. Now, macrophages and dendritic cells have these little yellow Y-looking things called mannose receptors. That's what they're looking for. That's actually what activates them. So when Dr. Mastovitz was talking about, getting your macrophages to function appropriately, this is how you turn them on. So at the very bottom is a long string of green mannose molecules called Ace Mannin. Ace Mannin is 95% mannose. So it has the same effect on the macrophage and the dendritic cells and the neutrophils, which are all phagocytes, as pathogens or as cancer cells. In other words, it alerts the immune system to go to work, to go into overdrive, to start doing what you're designed to do. The only difference is there is no problem with Ace Mannin. In fact, these phagocytes break it down and provide a high level of mannose to the body, which it needs for the proper structure and function of your immune system. Next slide. Oh, let me go back one, Will, I'm sorry. Okay, mannose receptors. Notice that it's not a vitamin C receptor. It's not a vitamin D receptor. It's not a vitamin E receptor. It's not an echinacea receptor. It's not a blueberry, a bilberry, a Golgi berry. It is a mannose receptor. Now, there's different receptors on macrophages, but from a nutritional standpoint, The main activating molecule for the front line of defense is mannose. That's why Ace Mannin works differently and more uniquely and more efficaciously than any other molecule in nature. Next. In the book, which is The Science of Aloe, there's a whole chapter on how Ace Mannin, its mechanisms of action for, activating various cytokines and macrophages, and its whole downstream effect on the immune system as a result of its ability to turn on the macrophage, which is stimulated by mannose. Next. At Manna Relief, we deliver this product called Hope Boost. And Hope Boost is full of Ace Mannin and an ingredient called stabilized rice bran. Stabilized rice bran is the most nutritionally dense food product on the planet. So we not only provide these kids with good immune support, we also supply them with good nutritional support. And Hope Boost is just blended into their food. It really doesn't matter what kids have access to eat. We can turn whatever they eat into the most nourishing thing that they will ever eat with Hope Boost. Next. And again, through our Buy One, Nourish Two program, our platform of social giving, this is a little outdated as of a few days ago. Over 25 million servings of advanced immune support have already been donated to children in need. Next. Social Business 3.0. Just want to cover this for all of you that are brand new. Social business is defined by entrepreneurs that dedicate their resources of technology, of skill level, of business acumen to providing sustainable change in the world today. So social businesses are all over the world today. It's the number one most sought after curriculum in business schools today, because there's a whole generation of young people that want their life's work to account for more than just a paycheck. So social business, social entrepreneurship is absolutely the trend of the future. But the writer of this book, the author of this book, named David Bornstein, talked about the future of social business when he wrote this book. And he said the real future of this business is what I call social business 3.0, which will be concerned with the building of platforms that enable more people to participate and profit from social business by building teams and teams of teams to facilitate the rapid circulation and sharing of solutions at a global level. In other words, the retail model is too passive to change the world. As it says at the very bottom, major change has never come through institutions, only through people movements. And so if you want to change the world, you have to incentivize and reward we the people for deciding that we want to champion this cause. And then they will drive it to the ends of the earth. Next. And so this is how our 3.0 platform works. We have three basic distribution systems within Alivea. Number one is fundraising distribution. Just about the time we were going to launch that, we got hit with the global pandemic and everybody had to stay at home and schools got shut down. But I met with the largest distributor of products to school systems that are trying to raise funds for athletic events and uniforms and band instruments and whatever. And he said, historically, what we've sold is just very low cost, commodities that are really just junk. Chocolate bars, popcorn, cookie dough. The list just goes on and on. Hard candy. He said just none of it brought any value into the marketplace. It was just, stuff. He said, well, in the last couple of years, there's been a real movement towards healthier alternatives. In other words, school systems are tired of telling their kids in their school to go out and poison, their friends and relatives so that they can get new band uniforms. So what they're saying is there anything that could bring value into the lives of our donors? And he said, all we've been able to find is sugar-free junk. He said, that's all. And he said, sugar-free junk is the same stuff without sugar. So not only is it junk, it tastes bad. And he said, so we're really looking. And when he saw our Hope Pop, he said, oh my gosh, you have no idea what you got your hands on, because you don't understand the demand like I do, because I'm sitting in the big fat middle of it. And he said, I would love to help you distribute Hope Pops all over the world for fundraising, because it will revolutionize fundraising as we know it today. So that's going to be a big vertical market for us, guys. Next is affiliate distribution. This is two different things. It's one is point of sale. So for instance, healthcare professionals, whether you're a chiropractor or massage therapist or whatever you do, if you have a point of sale opportunity where you have a customer base coming to you, you have the opportunity to display and sell these products to your personal consumer base. Secondly, there are influencers online that are called affiliates. And Amazon created this whole affiliate concept. And the only difference between what we do and what Amazon does is that we reward affiliates at a much higher level. So anybody with influence that wants to tell people about who we are and what we're doing and is willing to help build a consumer base, we have a designed affiliate distribution program for those people. But make no mistake, the thing that will get us to millions and millions of consumers and children in need is the 3.0 team building distribution model. You know, how do you reward people for building teams and teams of teams? There's only one compensation system, you know, in the world of business that does that. It is called the network marketing distribution model. And just like every other business, there's been tons of abuse around that. There's been challenges where people have just not had a good experience with it. Forget all that. Because what we've done is we've taken the best, which is their compensation model, and attached it to Social Business 3.0. So we bring products of value through a company of value to meet the world's biggest need with the most proprietary, unique, and efficacious technology. That, guys, is what separates us from everybody in the world. So what does all this mean to you? You know, I don't want to use a cliche, but if you're in this and you're brand new, you have arrived at the right place at the right time. And I think you can get a sense of that by just looking around at what's going on in the world today. There is a desperate need for immune activating, immune enhancing technologies. And there is no technology in the world like our unique Alivea AE technology. And so as we tell this story, as we bring hope to the hopeless, as we share with people how their lives and the lives of their family and loved ones can be transformed through our unique technologies. And by the way, Alivea AE is just one of our products. We have a whole line of proprietary, unique, products that bring incredible value to this whole equation of rebooting your entire biochemistry so that you can live a quality of life. All these technologies, as we share them into the marketplace and we find other people who want to help us champion our cause, we will build an organization unlike anything the world has ever seen. I know there's a lot of challenges in the world today. Goodness gracious, what's going on in the United States right now is it's just heartbreaking to see what's happening, and at all levels. And that's why I am every day, I just count the blessings for being involved in something that is not about how do you tear down people, how do you tear down society, how do you tear down who we are and what we're about. Our company is truly one of the most rewarding things that you could possibly be involved in. And folks, we will change the world. We are coming into a place in history where the demand for who we are and what we can provide is unparalleled in industry. And if you will just spend a little bit of time helping to educate consumers from your community or anywhere around the world, I'm telling you, we will transform society as we know it today. That's our goal. That's our opportunity. That's the blessing of all blessings to be a part of something so significant. So my prayer is that you will prosper in everything that God calls you to, and that there will be a willingness to hear your message from everybody that you talk to. So I just pray for prosperity for everybody on this call. Blessings, everyone. Thanks for letting me share my heart and my passion for who we are and what we're doing in the world today. You guys have a great week and a great month. See you Saturday. Good night.